Hi everybody, Dave here from More Style Astrology. I am going to look at the AstroMap today. We're going to look at where the planets are laid out over the world, or where they are on the map, where the energies are being applied today. And we're going to go back to where I left off, which was the end of August, and we're going to take it forward through a moon cycle. So here, basically, what I want to make sure you understand is that the planets, as they lay out over the map, are going to behave differently than how they would lay out over your natal chart. So to look at how you might be affected by this, you want to look at your natal chart. You want to look at how the planets are for you, what these triggers are coming over your planets, and how they're lining up for you. Here, we're simply going to take an overall look at what's the energy playing out for the map. So I'll load the map. And with this map, I'm going to take it back to the end of August. So the end of August is where we had the new moon. So I'll roll it right back here. So the new moon was about August 30th Pacific time, 4 a.m. So at that point here we have, if you look right in Virgo in the center of the map, you're going to find that the Sun, Juno, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and the moon are all conjunct. And at that particular point, where we left off before. Basically, we've got a lot of this energy in Virgo. So you've already heard people talking about it. There's all this energy towards getting things done. There's the activities there. Mars is there. What you're valuing is there. Venus, the communication, you're going to be able to talk about these things. The Sun is there. That's where you're putting your energy. Juno's there, which is showing you that it's things that you're loyal to, that you're involved, that are involved in this transition that you're going through, or that everybody's going through. So there's been this period of time where right here we've got this at about, the Sun's at about 6 or 7 degrees Virgo, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, here's square, here's trian. So Uranus was trian, and we can see down here it's trian in this particular collection. And so very synergetic electrical energy there, the very boosting the individual effort to get this done. But that was 2 weeks ago. So let's move this ahead a little bit. What's happened in the last 2 weeks? Can we get a flavor for what's coming up based upon what's happened in the last couple weeks? So here we're going to advance this chart a little bit. The moves along, and we move a little bit deeper into Virgo. So we had Mars, we had Mercury and the Sun all coming together at, this looks like about 10 degrees. So there was a period of time where part of this, rolling back a little bit, part of this area that we're going through here is also square over here to Sirius, which is going to give it that there's agitation with regards to the areas in life that we love. There's loyalty associated with this asteroid. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in a sign trian with Saturn and Pluto, but we're not quite perfectly aligned with those yet. So here we're at September 1st. We're rolling ahead a little bit farther. Let's see, we want to go to, let's see if we can find a point here. Where's the Sun? The Sun is at about 15 degrees, 14, 15 degrees, right about here. This is September 8th. Let's go back a couple days. Here is the 6th. So there, when we look back at the 6th was a Friday. We want to go to the 9th. Let's go to the 9th. Here is the 9th. So when we look at the 9th, we look at the 8th, we look at the 9th. So in this area here, right about here, we have a period of time that when you look back at it on the 9th, so what was happening, notice that Virgo is over the very western part of Europe, down in Africa, and it's over the UK. So the Sun is approaching that, is getting more and more conjunct with what's going on in the UK. The Mercury and Venus are already there. So here is a period of time that there's activity that's happening in the UK, if anybody's been watching the Brexit stuff. So here, around the 10th, what can we see here? We have, I think it was on the 6th that we had a point where their House of Commons, where basically you've got loyalty issues that are coming up. So we've got Juno in Virgo here, and we've got Sun representing the leaders. We've got Venus and Mercury here working their way up into that area where diplomacy is in action. But at the same time, we're dealing with, we're about 13, 14 degrees, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got Saturn working harmoniously with regards to this major conjunction. So Saturn's going to bring in the restrictions, it's going to bring in the regulations, it's going to bring in the rules. So here we have this energy associated with the rule set that is playing out over this particular area. And also notice down here, this little symbol shows that Neptune is in opposition to this. So we're going to roll a little bit farther here. So Neptune's at 17.5 degrees. So if we roll a little bit farther with this, the Sun is now at about that perfect point. So the Sun has come up to, let's roll a little bit farther. There we go. The Sun is at that 17.5. We have a 17.5. So we have a position on the 10th. So right around the 9th and 10th, we had a position where the Sun, which represents the leaders, in a complete opposition to Neptune, which is, Neptune is going to drop down boundaries. It's going to, it rules the emotional areas. It rules imagination. It rules dreams. It rules, it clouds things so you can't quite see things clearly. It's that illusional, delusional world. And at the same time, we have Venus and Mercury that is moving even closer. It's moved at 24, 25 degrees. And if we count over 1, 2, 3, 4, now we have the Venus-Mercury in a tighter trian with Pluto. So this is all around September 10th. So that tight trian with Pluto means that what's going to be talked about is going to be the secrets. It's going to be the we're going to want to transform things that have been hidden. They're going to start coming out in the open here. Venus is there, which means when it comes out, it's going to be diplomatic in a sense. Okay, and we're going to roll a little bit farther with this. So now today is the 12th. So let's roll up to today. So what we have here is now, let's roll a little bit farther. So we have this point right here, which is September 13th at 9 p.m. This represents the planetary layout for the full moon. Notice the moon is on the end of the chart right over the opposite point of the Sun. So we've got 21 degrees here, we've got 21 degrees there. This represents a point where, notice that at the full moon, we have Mars is going to be at 17 degrees Virgo, which is in square to Jupiter, which means that action energy is going to be very strong. It's going to want to stand up at that point. Jupiter is going to amplify that. Jupiter is wisdom. So Mars is going to be fighting for that, for the wise in this particular case. We have 21 degrees. We have 21 degrees for Pluto, for transformation for the leaders. We also have this point where Neptune is completely opposite Mars. So the Sun has barely moved on from being at the opposite point of Neptune, but now Mars comes in there. So there's this period of time where the whole world is going to be fighting for something that they might not clearly understand at this point. So Neptune's going to cloud the vision there. And so here's where we are today. So where we are today, Venus and Mercury right here, right on the border of Virgo, Libra, jumps over into that next realm. And if we scroll into that just a little ways, we get about 4 degrees in. And at this point, Venus and Mercury are opposed by Chiron. So, and Chiron's in retrograde. So here we have a situation where Chiron's going to represent the wounds that we have and the spiritual growth that we make. So here we now have this period of time where we may feel like there's wounds that are getting activated here. We may feel inferior. There may be a situation where the leaders will be triggered by this. Let's see, where's the moon at? The moon is over in Aries, so the people are going to be pushing forward. If we roll back just a little bit, we have a situation where the moon, the people are up against Eris, which means we have chaos in the mass population's emotion. and we see Venus diplomacy is working its way into Libra. So we're trying to get balance on things. They're talking about balance. And at this point, we also have, if you target all this in to the UK, where we've been seeing a lot of political stuff play out, we know that their parliament is prorogued, and so they're out. Thus, in the background, we may not be seeing as much. It may not be as theatrical as what we saw a few weeks ago, but here there might be a sense of balance with that. So we're going to move a little bit farther. So as we move, so here's the 16th, here's the 17th. We have, notice right below Mars, right at that same time, we have the dark moon Lilith, which has come across Juno. So loyalty issues again. So loyalty issues with regards to, if we focus this on the UK, the politics in the UK. But we're going to go a little bit further with this. And here's the 19th. Here is a point where, let's find another configuration. So we have about 10 degrees here. We want to go a little bit farther. So, okay, so looking at it, so if we roll this forward just a little bit farther, we have a period of time around the 23rd. So we have this point here where the sun is going to transition. So right at the transition point between Virgo and Libra is a perfect conjunction with the dark moon Lilith, Jacobson's dark moon Lilith, right at that border. And we have the moon in direct opposition to Pluto and Saturn, and the moon's over the east coast of the United States. And so here we have, let's see, what energies can we bring in? We have a transition that's occurring. We have Mars at 23 degrees, which is right up with Pluto. So there's energy for transformation at this point. We have Mars has just gone past Neptune, and we have Juno. So we're going to advance this a little bit further and working towards that new moon. So here, as we move a little bit farther, Mars now comes into a perfect trian, or actually it's moved a little bit farther. Where's Mars? So at that switch, Mars is in trian with Pluto, and so here is, we're rolling up to the full moon. So we're going to go to the full moon. We're going to back off from that just a little bit. So notice the full moon, or the new moon. The new moon is at 5.20 minutes. Okay, so there's that spot right there where we have the new moon. That new moon is directly opposing Chiron. So we have this period of time right around September 28th, which is going to be, those wounds are going to come up from the past. There's an opportunity here for spiritual growth, spiritual understanding from those wounds. We have a, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So we have the sun, we have this collection of planets. So we've got Mercury, we've got Venus, we've got the dark moon Lilith, we've got the moon, we've got the sun in a square position with the sign of Capricorn, where Pluto and Saturn is. And I know what I wanted to look for here. No, so notice Saturn's over in Capricorn. So there's this period of time that we're going through that it seems like nothing's going on here, but as we're going through the 19th, 20th, and there is a point where Saturn is sitting still. So Saturn is sitting still to turn, and it's going to turn at, I guess it's around the 22nd. So the way my map is, I don't change from retrograde to direct until it actually makes progress. So it's sitting here at this point. While the moon comes across the United States, Saturn is just getting ready to turn direct. And that's, Saturn's turning direct right at the cusp of where the sun is moving into Libra. And so this becomes a powerful point to change the energy for Saturn, which means during this time when Saturn has been retrograde, which really represents that the full month from the previous new moon, which was back in August, all the way to the new moon that we're going to get to experience here at the end of September, Saturn was retrograde and now it's moving direct. So this next new moon is going to turn it direct. So taking a minute here to look at it, notice that, again, Sun is in opposition of Chiron. We have Mercury at 23 degrees, which is directly in opposition of Eris. Eris, as we know, is the asteroid of chaos. Mercury is about communication. It seems to me that this new moon is going to have lots of energy, lots of stuff where we get to visit chaos. We're going to get to see chaos play out significantly again. And let's see, let's take Mercury at 23 degrees and 1, 2, 3. So there's this period of time when right up to that full moon, new moon, again, new moon, Mercury is going to be in square with Pluto. Venus is coming into that square with Pluto. So we have this transformation energy filling into the diplomacy that happens through Venus. We have that transformation feeding through Mercury, which is the communication. We have the Pluto wants to bring out secrets. Mercury is going to be in a position to not bring those out gracefully, even though it's kind of in a conjunction with Venus, but Venus is got the dark moon Lilith on top of it. So there's some chaos that's going to play out in this next new moon. Where is it going to play out? Well, we have Mars directly over the UK. We have the sun and moon is more over Belgium, more over just the not quite Germany, but more Denmark area. But then again, Libra holds that whole Central European location. We also have Venus and Lilith. So during this build-up towards, or during the letdown to that new moon, during the build-up of this chaos, we're gonna see that Venus and Mercury will have gone through Germany over into Poland, and so we've got this amplification energy right into that area. Now, what else do we see here? So Pluto. Looking at Pluto, since Pluto's in play, we know Pluto's been in play for a long time because Saturn's coming up against Pluto. It's going to get tighter in the next few months. We see that Pluto is trian Juno and trian Vesta. So here we have a trian here, and we have a trian the other direction over to Vesta. So as we know with these two asteroids are Vesta is going to be a purity and security. Juno is going to be loyalty and marriage and commitment, which means this security, marriage, and commitment item is up for transformation. So there may be people may be put in situations where loyalty will be tested and security will be on the line during this new moon. Anything else that we see there? Juno is also in direct opposition to Neptune. So in the case of Neptune, it's going to create a situation where the loyalty will be cloudy. The loyalty will be tested. It's dreamy or it's delusional. So in the case of opposition, I would say it's more delusional with regards to where that loyalty is. And so loyalty is going to come out and be tested. Neptune's going to bring it out. Pluto's going to bring it out. Anyway, didn't mean for this to be as long as it is. Feel free to comment on this. Let me know what you think. You're probably going to see lots of things that I didn't see. But just, you can go over it. You can pause this video at any point. Make it full screen if you have to. And you're going to be able to see things in it that I wasn't able to see. Look down the bottom. The program's going to tell you all the conjunctions, the oppositions, the squares, the trians, the sextiles. It'll tell you those little details. Anyway, hope you're having a great day, and you'll probably see another one of these from me in about a month.